Dear students, welcome to this video. Now in this video we are going to discuss confirmation bias. Again, confirmation bias. And trust me, this is really easy to understand. So just as before, I'm going to start with the definition first and then I'm going to give you real life relevant examples. So let's take a look at the definition. It is the tendency to seek out information that reaffirms our past judgment or beliefs and to discount or ignore information that contradicts past judgments or beliefs. Now, the two most important part of this definition is this. Number one, seek out information or look for information that reaffirms our past judgment or beliefs. So we always try to find out those information that actually says that yes, whatever we believe currently, it is true. Now point number two of this definition is discount or ignore information that contradicts past judgments or beliefs. So when we see that a certain piece of information is going against our belief, we try to ignore that information. That is what confirmation bias is. Now the definition will be much clearer when I give you two relevant examples. So let's start with the examples now. For the first example, let's assume that someone believes this. Women are bad at driving. Again, this is not my belief. I really hate this statement. However, for example purposes, let's continue with this. So as I just said, that someone believes that women are bad at drivers. Now, let's assume that this person sees something like this happening on the road. So some lady is really scared to drive. Now seeing this, you know what the person will say? That person will say something like this. See, really they cannot drive. Look at her. So this person is really happy. Why? Because whatever he saw on the road confirms his current belief that women cannot drive properly. On the other hand, let's assume that this same person sees something like this on the road on some other day. So that person sees on the road that this professional racer is going to race this car. Now let's assume that our person who believes that women are bad drivers, he sees this lady on the road. And on the next day as well, he sees two other women driving professional cars. Now, remember this person is suffering from confirmation bias? Now, these two pieces of information contradicts his current belief, right? These two pictures shows that his belief is completely wrong. However, you know what that person is going to say? That person is going to say something like this. Nah, that is a fancy car. It is easy to drive with automated systems. That is why she can drive well. See, he is trying to ignore those two photos. And he has come up with a completely lame reason to stick to his belief. That is what people do when they suffer from confirmation bias. Whenever they see something that contradicts their own belief, they try to ignore those kind of information. On the other hand, that same person, whenever they see that a piece of information is basically supporting their belief, they become really happy. They also try to seek out or find out information that basically confirms their belief. So I guess by now the concept of confirmation bias is clear to you. Now just to finish off, I want to give you another organizational example. So for this example, let's assume that someone believes like this. Women cannot shine in their career. Let's assume again this person suffers from confirmation bias. Now whenever this person sees something like this photo, see, here a woman working in the office is not doing really well. She dropped something, or maybe she's really angry. Or maybe she recently got fired from her job. Now seeing this lady, you know what that person is going to say? Maybe that person is going to say something like this. I knew that she would fail. Why do women do jobs I do not know at all? So that person is basically really happy. Why? Because whatever you saw in the earlier photo confirms his current belief that women cannot shine in their career. And on top of that, the person who believes this actively looks out for examples to show that yes, whatever he believes is true. Now moving on, even if this person sees something like this photo, see, here we have a lady who's really successful in her career. She's making a lot of money and she's really happy about it, right? She's enjoying the moment. Now let's assume that this lady came in front of the person who believes that women cannot shine in their career. Or maybe this lady comes in front of the person. See, she is also really shining. She is sort of the superwoman. Maybe she is also really successful. Or maybe this lady comes up to that person and says that, see, take a look, that I'm a living person and I'm really successful. Now, I'm sure all of you know who this lady is, right? This is Kamala Harris, the Vice President elect of the United States of America. Now, see, she's really successful. Now, you know what? Even after the person sees all of these examples of successful women, he might say something like this. She did not do it on her own. Her boss preferred her for the post. Or maybe he will say that she was plain lucky. So these are the kinds of lame points the person might come up with after seeing these photos. Why is he doing that? Because all of these photos or examples went against his belief and he is trying to ignore those examples. So that is how confirmation bias works. So yes, we are done with confirmation bias. And my request to all of you, please do not fall into the trap of this bias, alright? So even if you see something that goes against your belief, try to look at that example objectively and try to accept the change. That yes, whatever you believed was wrong, because you need to accept the truth, alright? So we are done here. See you soon in the next video.